this is the one thing I will have to say. And if you guys stuck with me to the end of this video, you guys deserve a medal. Because this was one of the most boring articles I think I've read so far in 2018. Hi guys, this is Dante with Drive and Thrive. And tonight I'd like to discuss Uber's response to that scathing MIT study that was published a week ago. But I'm not sure because the corporation's name is Medium Corporation. Well, he published a great response to the MIT study. And so I'm just going to read some of it and give you my thoughts. And I wanted to do this video because I published a video entitled, Is Uber a Scam? MIT study claims that Uber drivers earn $3.37 after expenses. And I did a full video on it, and I talked about it in depth, and I read from the article. And I don't want to give some biased perspective on whether or not Uber is a scam. And that is it was totally an outlier study. It was totally a one-off article. But this article has been a publicity nightmare for Uber right now. And since, we are in this gig economy, ride share, food delivery industry, I think it's important to A, keep up on things, to be knowledgeable, and B, but also to be fair. And let's give Uber's side of the story, okay? Let's not just jump all over them. And by the way, as I said in that video, I agree with the Uber side of the story, believe it or not, because I've read a bunch of different articles and a bunch of different studies. They've all had expenses after income 5 times as high, 5, 6, 7 times as high as that MIT study. Which raised the question to me, okay, MIT is not biased. I know that for a fact. Why was MIT's numbers so drastically different from all of the other numbers? Is it that the other studies were biased? Is it a flaw in MIT's methodology, right? So let's find out a little bit. So Jonathan Hall published this article. By the way, in the first paragraph, he noted that 750,000 people drive with Uber. And he said that that's a relatively small portion of the U.S. labor force. But 750,000 people drive with just Uber. That's almost 1%. So that's almost, 0.3% of the U.S. labor force. 0.2%. Whatever it is, I had no idea almost 1 million people. Yeah, so that's almost about 1%, right? Because I think the U.S. labor force is 140 million. So 700,000, 140 million is something like 0.6% or something like that. It's really high. Okay. I know. I'm terrible at math. Okay. Don't judge. Okay. So the study says this week, MIT's Center for Energy and Environmental Policy Research released a paper titled The Economics of Ride-Hailing, Driver Revenue, Expenses, and Taxes, which differs markedly from previous academic studies on the topic of driver earnings. For example, a study we conducted with Alan Kruger of Princeton found that drivers across 20 of Uber's largest U.S. markets earned an average of $19.04 per hour in 2015. A more recent study with Stanford professors estimated gross hourly earnings of $21.07 for all U.S. drivers between January 2015 and March 2017. Perhaps most surprisingly, the earnings figures suggested in the paper are less than half the hourly earnings numbers reported in the very survey the paper derives its data from. That survey, conducted by the rideshare guy in 2017, reports an average hourly earnings of $15.68. So what's going on here? Well, it has to do in the questions themselves. And A lot of surveys and a lot of studies fall victim to simple errors in methodology. It's not that the study itself is biased in some nefarious way. It's simply the actual methodology itself is flawed. And here, the flaw comes in the questions themselves. The questions 11, 14, and 15 of the study are very confusing. Are very confusing to rideshare drivers because here I'll read question 11. It says, "How many hours per week do you work on average? Combine all of the on-demand services that you work for." Question 14. "How much money do you make in the average month? Combine the income from all of your on-demand activities." Question 15. "How much of your total monthly income comes from the driving?" That question 15, question 11, question 14, very confusing. Very easy for drivers to misinterpret the question and thereby give different numbers, especially since a lot of rideshare people. So in this study, they were dealing with Uber. So let's say you drive for Uber and Lyft. Or let's say that you're an Uber Eats driver, but you also drive for DoorDash and Postmates, right? Those questions could lead to wildly different answers amongst all the different participants in the studies. It does lead to wildly different answers for people in the studies, and especially the methodology on how they calculate when respondents wrote around half. When they said around half, they really cut it. They really cut the numbers down from like $1,500 to $710, for example, right? So how big could this error be? The article gives a bunch of data, and it means that if drivers made $10 per hour from driving, the authors would incorrectly assume that some made as low as $2.50 and $0. That is a huge, huge flaw in the methodology. It's so huge, in fact, that you would think someone from MIT would have been able to spot it. But I know that MIT was tasked with just delivering data, and I don't know. I can't explain how they would make such a huge flaw in a survey like this and then widely publish it. Although I suppose me saying that they widely published it isn't true. What is true is that someone in the media got a hold of the article and wrote a really, really impactful article that went viral and has spread all across the world, deeply wounding Uber's reputation. So, towards the very end of the article, it says that at this time, the revenue per hour after expenses generally, we get $16.53 and $13.04. So $16.53 to $13.04 after expenses, which is more than minimum wage. If you go to a minimum wage job, even in Seattle where the minimum wage is $15, after expenses like transportation, etc., you're going to make at the low end $13.04. Plus, or, if you calculate transportation time for most places, right? So, yeah, that's about minimum wage here in Seattle. And I know that in a lot of places in the country, that's more than minimum wage. And I know that based upon different strategy, tactics, and promotion and boosts, etc., that it could be much more than that. So, yeah, I think Uber's response to the MIT study was powerful. I think that they took their time in laying out step by step in a logical way. This is the one thing I will have to say, and if you guys stuck with me to the end of this video, you guys deserve a medal, because this was one of the most boring articles I think I've read so far in 2018. I have no idea. Look, the chief economist for Uber is a very intelligent guy, but he is boring as dirt. This article was horrible. Hopefully you guys watched this while driving, and you guys haven't crashed into a semi yet. But, so anyway, I did this video. I should make that the intro. Maybe I should make that the intro, and then somehow, okay. But anyway, maybe I will. Okay. Okay, so don't die watching this video, listening to this video while driving. But yeah, no, I wanted to do this video because I wanted to be fair, because I did an entire video on is Uber a scam? And I had person after person comment that, yes, Uber is a scam. No, you cannot possibly make any money with Uber. It's all a scam and Uber is evil. No, it's not true. You can make money with Uber. You're not necessarily going to be rich and living like in hog heaven with Uber, but you can make a decent amount of money. In fact, when I look at my spreadsheet and I calculate everything after expenses, I'm banking over $20 an hour. So, easily. In fact, I'm probably not even including all of the bonuses I've gotten when I calculate that. So, I've been conservative with my own numbers for my own reasons, but I'm making over $20 after expenses per hour. So, take that for what you will. Take these studies for what you will. Don't necessarily believe me. I'm going to have links to both the article, the MIT study, and this study from the Median Corporation and Jonathan Hall. So I'm going to have those down there. So if you want to read them, I suggest you read them. But what I would do if I were you and I finished this entire video, I would not bother because they are terribly boring. Okay. As always, I appreciate my viewers very much. Please like and subscribe and comment. What do you think? Do you think Uber is a scam? Do you buy Jonathan Hall's retort of the MIT study? Or do you believe MIT? You say, you know what, MIT, they don't have any skin in the game. They have no reason to be biased. They have no reason to lie. It's the Uber guys that are lying. It's the Uber guys that are spinning and manipulating things and trying to come off better than what things really are. What about your experience as Uber drivers or Uber Eats drivers? Have you made a spreadsheet? Do you calculate how much you're actually earning? Do you factor in car depreciation, vehicle maintenance, gasoline, taxes? Do you do all of that? And if not, I think you should. And if you do that, please comment below and let me know how much you make an hour. If you don't mind, of course, How much roughly do you make an hour? Let us know. Let us know if this stuff is real or not. But please like, subscribe, comment. Let's talk about this a little bit. By the way, you deserve an award if you are still here at the end of this video. In fact, even I think I am about to fall asleep. So with that, thank you for watching and have a good night.